How to use the corded electric drill. Today we're going to take this yellow DeWalt drill with this 1/2 inch twist bit and drill a hole in this piece of wood. Before we start using the drill though, just like any power tool, there are some points of inspection. And we're going to start by checking the housing on this drill all the way around. Make sure there's no cracks, nothing's torn up in it. We're also going to collect and check these dust ports, because this thing is air cooled and you want to make sure that they're not stopped up with dust, which is pretty common. The other thing we're going to check is on this one is a keyless chuck. We want to make sure that it's going to spin free. If it doesn't, sometimes we have to bear down on it really hard to get it started. The next point is to check the cord. You're looking for tears and frays, cracks, anything like that. And the place of note is at the beginning and the end of the cord. These first little few inches are usually what catches most of the wear and tear. And lastly, we're going to check our bit, because drills use bits. We're going to make sure that this bit is straight and make sure that it's sharp. A quick way to check straightness is lay the bit on any flat surface and then roll it. If it's bent or warped, it's gonna wobble as it goes over, and it'll womp, 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 and you'll know quick. And quickly on sharpness, you can use the end of your finger, just come across the biting edge, because it's meant to go right-handed. It's right-handed threads, so it's going to bite on that front leading edge, and you can just run your finger across it and see that the bit is sharp. Now when I get ready to use it, as always, we start with our PPE. Make sure we've got our pants and our closed-toe shoes and a pair of safety glasses on. We're going to ensure that the drill is unplugged and that the trigger lock is not engaged. That is very critical to one of these. Not all drills have trigger locks. In fact, this one doesn't. But the Milwaukee I showed, well, you'll see, saw in the intro video, actually did. But any drill or any power tool, if you'll just bump the trigger a couple times, that's all you have to do is just move it. It'll disengage any trigger lock that happened to be there. We're going to place our bit in the chuck, 1/2 inch spade bit, place it in the chuck. On this one, you have to hold the bottom part of the chuck and then spin the top part, and it's going to snug up. And when you get it finally, you got to hold on pretty good with your left hand, grab your right, and it's going to lock in place. And you'll hear it if you make a few little clicking noises. I'll back it up so you can hear it. Then we're ready to work with our stuff. All right, the next step is to secure our work to the table. We're going to mark a hole we want to drill. We're going to mark it with a writing device, and we're also going to mark it with this bit. I don't even have it, it's not even plugged in yet, but I'm going to take my bit. I'm going to line it up right where I want to go center. And if you look real close, there's a little pointed tip on this thing. I'm going to line that pointed tip up. And then I'm going to give it a little push down, and it's going to create a little dent in that piece of wood. Now I'm ready to plug my tool in and start my work. I'm going to hold it with two hands. I've already got my little indent, and I'm going to start the bit really slowly. Then I'm going to gradually increase the speed, and then I'm going to put a little bit of downforce to help the drill pass through this piece of wood. And when I get close to the end, I'm going to hold on to it tight, because I don't want it to push through and then break and hit down really hard and break this piece of wood. So I've got to reduce the speed at the end and reduce my pressure. And then when that's all done and the drill stops spinning, I'll unplug it. All right, now we're ready to drill a hole. Start slow. I'm coming through. I'm almost through, so I'm going to ease up on my pressure a little bit. See how the drill went through really quick? Now I'm actually, in this case, I'm going to take it and put it in reverse. Bump the trigger a little bit, and it helps me ease it out. Now I want to unplug it. Now it's finished. And that's the steps to use. And once you're finished with any tool, there's a little maintenance work to do with it. I'm going to make sure it's clean and dry. Again, I'm going to check my dust ports in and around and make sure there's no water in it, because electric tools and water don't go together. I'm going to remove the bit, and I'm going to check it again to make sure I haven't warped it or made it dull. And if you just used a bit a lot, be very careful because these ends get very, very hot and you can burn yourself instantly with one of these. So be very careful with drill bits, especially masonry bits. They generate an extreme amount of heat. That is how to use a corded electric drill.